Hello. I have in front of me a Commodore 128 power supply. It was stored, or, wound up with a twist tie, which is not a terrible thing, although there is a little bit of bleed through on the cord from the redness. But anyway, the cord is kind of dirty. These things happen. So yes, this is a Commodore 128. It is. I've not done one of these for a while. Let's see here. First, we're going to turn that off. Pull out the power supply I was just testing. This one in. And thankfully I see no flames, I hear no strange noises, so what could possibly be bad? Here is a beautiful Commodore 128. At least the bottom looks beautiful. The top, it's a funny thing, and I guess maybe they had different key things. The top looks pretty dandy, but some of the keys are yellowed, but not all, which leads me to believe maybe they were made out of a different batch or a different plastic or a different something. I have seen this before. I have. So, what are we going to do? Well, first, power switches off. This is not the best arrangement I have right here. Because I really don't want this to be sitting on the power supply. So, you go in for the cords. What is this? Well, that's a funny thing. I don't know why. No signal. Just we have a signal. Maybe. There, we have a signal. I guess it went dormant. I like that picture. Okay, so now I really can't test this fully because I don't have an 80 column monitor right handy. Well, I do, but it has issues. So what we will do is we will take our cat hair. We will put the video from the Coast of the 1701 in. I will look at this, and for the first moment, I will press the Commodore key to try things in Commodore 64 mode. Oh, look at that. It works. That's always a good sign. And the keyboard, it also seems to be good. Alright, now I'm going to hold down, I forget which is the 4080 on the Commodore 128. Well, I would like to think that's the 80 mode. I will press the switch, try again. Look at that. Device not present. Well, this seems to be going rather well, actually. So, I will of course use a magic eraser on this, and it is some bothersome that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 20, 20. It looks like 24 of the keys are afflicted. Now, it's a funny thing, because this is the Commodore 64 dead test cartridge, and it says on it that it works on the 128 and the 128D. But I'm not sure I've ever found that to be true. But you see there is a pause. Oh, look at that. 64 dead test cartridge. Now I'm assuming that this is testing the 64 mode. I'm assuming. Maybe that's what it's good for. I'm also assuming maybe some of those things don't line up because maybe I'm not sure if there was as many RAM chips or not in this. But certainly we'll be able to hear if the SID somewhat works. Oh, I'm covered in cat hair. I'm not sure if you saw the last episode, but Penny, who never comes to visit, came to visit. Penny is the short-haired version of the cats that we have. Sheldon is the long-haired. But I got a lot of hair today. So, this is doing its thing. And soon,
that was easy.
Soon, the SID chip will be tested. So, while I'm here, thinking, I should get my documentation. There's the SID chip. Pretty good. There's my marker. So, you know what else I think I'm going to do? Because I can. I'm going to. You gotta be really careful. The pins on this are really sharp. I kind of wish it was in a case. What is this? Shoplifter. I am going to try. I was going through a box of stuff and I found some cartridges, one of them being Centipede. Let's see what happens. Oh yeah. This might be worth it. I'd love the big screen if I can just find the button right. Press F3 for 2 players, F1 for 1 mode. Yes, it's all coming back to me now. Oh, you can pause it. How beautiful. I didn't realize. I was just thinking I needed a joystick in there. Alright, so November 2019. 64. Okay. 128.40. Okay. SID. Okay. Cart. Okay. Yellowed. Keys. Excellent. So, I wonder. I will take that on a moment. Why is this joystick not accessible? Is it in here? It is not in there. Sorry, my disk case. Now, that's funny. Generally speaking, if there are 2 joystick ports on the 128 and the 64, and kind of like when looking at a product in Canada, you ultimately always pick the French side, and not the what do you need? Oh, look at that. Okay, there's a spider. No, I don't think I'm going to... Okay, I think I'm due. Yeah, I'm due. You really got to start shooting much earlier. So every time you shoot... Oh my, there, I'm moving. What is that thing? I'm due. So every time you shoot and hit something, it hastens the time. Oh my God. Did I ever tell you I wasn't the best game player? Boy, for the lowest level, this seems to really be cooking along. What else is here? Of course, always turn the machine completely off before you put a cartridge in. I do like the 128 for a number of reasons. One of them is it has a reset switch, because I find that it's a little gentler on the system than turning it on and off. Oh. Probably. Yeah. Probably we need the other port. Let's try it. Fire. Oh yeah. First sortie. The idea behind this is to rescue people. But you gotta be careful, because sure enough, another tank is going to appear and try and blow you out of the sky as well as them. I might have just landed on one. So there are, if I remember, there are like barracks or something over here somewhere, where these guys, there's a barrack. Oh, I'm so close. Oh, I think he just shot one of the guys. Oh no, 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 no. plane after me too? Oh no. Oh dear. Well, I didn't know there was a plane going to come get me. Ah! Maybe I can shoot the plane. Ah! Maybe I can chase the plane here. I'm in trouble. Shut the plane. Now, one thing I'm having trouble with, there we go, is getting turned. Okay, I don't see anybody there. Nope, okay, I'm at the end of the road here. Oh, there's a patch. Those tanks are going to come soon, I think. On the plane. Why can't I kill this thing? Well, that was fun. You know what? I'm not going to do a third. That was fun. So, here we have, oh yes, a working Commodore 128. It really is a miraculous machine, this. I was very honored to meet Bill Hurd at a previous CPUG World of Commodore show to hear his stories of how they managed to get this machine done, solving one problem a day, and keep it away from the marketing people that they could ruin it. Although, it's funny, I seem to remember he said they went to CES and there was some poster up about 640K, which of course was some fictitious, useless, not really mattering IBM number. So they never, said that, done that, whatever. Of course, had 128K, but immediately started drawing up plans for the 512K expansion module. It's funny, back in the day, how, oh, well, it only runs at 1 megahertz, or it runs at 1.44, or whatever, or, there was all these numbers, and there was a lot of people who, they'd know one number, they'd grasp onto that, about the speed, or the this, or that, or whatever it was, and they thought, oh, yeah, it was just much ado about nothing. It's a perfect example of a little knowledge is a dangerous thing. When really, even today, really, the whole thing, you don't buy a computer, necessarily, if you're looking for a specific thing for a computer to do for you. You find the program that works, that does what you need, and then you get the computer that works with it. Now, in these days of pretty much PC or Mac, that's what you do. And way back when, it was what's here. Here's the reset switch. I don't have to turn it off. I can hold in the reset, press the Commodore key, And up comes the Commodore 64. Beautiful. Now, you know this machine also has CPM in it. Have I ever used CPM on a 128? Never. I remember when, one time, I guess when the 128 was introduced, Chris Bennett, who was big into T-Pug, and he really ran it out of his house for a long time until they got an office. When he asked somebody, may have been Bill Hurd, who knows, at the CES show, about, you know, why CPM, and he basically went, $5. So that's, I guess, what it cost to add the capability. And they did. And apparently at that show they had, you know, people were welcome, and they hoped that as many people as possible would show up with CPM discs and pop them into a 1571 and watch them work. But I don't know. Well, it's 3 computers in one. It's a miracle. It's fantastic. And better than that, it works. And it's mighty clean. You know what I may end up doing on this one? Because, you know, I may end up selling it and things and stuff. I might either swap out the keyboard or change the yellowed keys so it all looks lovely and dandy and magical. I guess what I should do now is try to find a monitor such as the 1084 that's at my feet and a cable to ensure that the 80 column mode works. But that is another story for another day. Thank you for being here. Bye for now.